So I went to Casuarina Senior College. I graduated and got my certificate in 2013. And then I pretty much went into the Northern Land Council to work. I did my Certificate 3 in Business Administration there, and then I came into Gov. Well, I did a lot of work experience with NLC throughout like holidays during school. So I think it was familiar when I came out with what I was doing, like administration, working in HR. Then I got a traineeship within HR to do the certificate, and then I just kind of took it on, and I thought, well, if I do my Certificate 3 in business, it'll just up my skills and I can get in like that, having that qualification. I was freaking out, I think, when I was waiting outside to go in for the interview. But then when I seen the ladies there, they're so friendly, they're so nice, we get along, so it was really easygoing. And now they're my team and they're just amazing. I've just always worked, I've never been without a job because I like that independence kind of thing. And yeah, I think just sticking to something, even when it gets a bit hard, I was able to get through it. I love my team, they're amazing. I feel like I've been blessed to come into a government agency that is as great as mine.
When I first started working, I had a certificate, and I realised that if I wanted to advance a little bit, then obviously I'd have to improve my qualifications. So I actually went back to uni. My degrees, the content was so applicable to what I was doing. So it allowed me to actually work on a whole different dimension. So I felt, like charged up and empowered because suddenly I had all this knowledge behind me and the ability to do so much more and to work more effectively and to be a better communicator and a better community development manager. I was like, this is incredible.
I think being a mum of 4, I was always organised, there was structure all the time, there was routine, everything, so it kind of allowed me to come into a place where you had to be punctual, you had to be organised, you had to be on time. So my family's probably the biggest motivation. I want them to have the best, I want them to travel, I want all of that, so I work hard to allow us to enjoy that and make some memories. I know there's only a handful of Aboriginal identified senior administration officers in the Northern Territory Government. Because I know that, I'm kind of thinking, well, if I can go from Technical 1 to an AO4, why can't I be a SAO 2? Kind of like, that's my motivation to try and climb up the ladder and have a bit of influence on government's decisions for our locals and outcomes on projects. It can be challenging at times, but having the support there or asking for the support will really push people through learning those new skills. Believe in yourself and don't be afraid to ask for help.
One life event like having a child, I guess, allowed me to start thinking much bigger and being more responsible. And I think it can either take you one way or the other, and I think it took me obviously down the right path to actually start thinking more about, well, what do I actually want to be? Having finished Year 12 and having that education, and I thought it would be, almost a waste of time having done all that schooling and not going on to do anything else. So, and again, working with the NT government, I never knew how many opportunities there were. You don't have to go and get sit and start doing education and for 5 years and then get your degree, and then you can start being something that you wanted to be 5 years ago. You can actually be on the job and actually start working and doing the things that you want to do.
So my name's Cindel Cray and I work for Department of Chief Ministers, and I'm a Regional Development Officer with them. So I've been there for about 3 years now. I've almost done 20 years with NTG, but I've covered just about every department within NTG. Some of the best advice I can give to anybody is broaden your skills basis. If there's an opportunity that comes up in another department and you think you can do that job, do it. You know that whole saying, be the change you want to be? It's true, it's true. If you want to make change, then you're not going to get that change or make that change being sat at your desk in your same job for 20 years. And we all know people who've not even moved in 5 or 10 years. My advice to anybody who's thinking about going back into the workforce, it doesn't hurt to give it a try. The other thing is, decide on what you really want. You know, like, you've got to be ready for it. You know, like they talk about, you know, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. It's the same with anybody that wants to come back to work. You've got to really want to do it, you know? You've really got to want to do it.
Darwin, born and bred, been here all my life, schooling, Sanderson High School through to Casuarina Senior College. So I've lived in Darwin all bar the 2.5 years I was in the police. I was down in Tennant Creek. I've been in this role now for almost 10 years, so coming up on my 10 years. So I'm sitting in a helicopter having a bird's eye view of the fireground and controlling up to, you know, I could have up to 20 fire units on the ground, and I'm in control of all, plus 3 planes coming in and another couple of helicopters on a bucket. So I've got all that going on whilst still trying to make decisions on where I'm putting volunteer units and stuff. So it is a complex situation. So I've been everywhere, out to Arnhem Land, Daly River, Pepinati, been to a lot of places. I just love the territory. I think it's beautiful. So I love the countryside. So getting over a bit of the escarpment out Litchfield Parkway and stuff and seeing some of the fires that go through there, through some of that untouched country, I'm pretty blessed. I'm happy in my role. I still think I've got a lot to give to the role, knowing at the end that I've done the right thing on the fireground and I haven't lost any houses, I haven't lost any sheds, I haven't lost any animals or people. You know, like, it does feel good.
I have a go at least, because you never know what will happen, because there's endless opportunities out there. And I look at NTG compared to employment, compared to when I first came in. I mean, wow, what a world of change, absolute world of change. And, you know, I see a lot more people out there. I see a lot more Indigenous people, you know, Aboriginal people employed. I see a lot more opportunities. I see a greater understanding around aspects of being an Indigenous person employed in NTG. So don't limit yourself and don't think you can't do it, because you'd be very surprised, you know, that you've got the skills and ability, you just don't realise it, you know. So, yeah, give yourself a pat on the back and be kind to yourself and, you know, have a go.